Hello everybody. I know I've been putting off this review for a bit, but it's finally here, Antman and the Wasp Quantumania. I had high expectations for this film, and I was very, very mad at this film for a couple of reasons. I'll get into those in just a bit. Our cast, notable cast, is Paul Rudd as Scott Lane, Evangeline Lilly as Hope Van Dyne, Michael Douglas as Dr. Hank Pym, Michelle Pfeiffer, Janet Van Dyne, Jonathan Majors as King the Conqueror, Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang, Bill Murray as Lord Krylar, Katie M. O'Brien as Jen Tora, and a bunch of other talented actors and actresses in this film. So to get to just... I'm gonna have to really think about this one with the rating, because this is honestly... Many people aren't going to agree with my take on this, because a lot of people are pure Disney fanboys and can't see anything wrong that Disney does with their films. But this is a 4 out of 10 for me, because I was very, very annoyed at the lack of plot development in this film. It felt like there was no payoff. It felt like there was no change to anything with this film. I felt like this was a film you could skip almost entirely for the plot. Now, let me explain. I have nothing wrong with any representation in films. I'm not against that. But I think what this film does is it's been taken into a blender, as others have said. I have watched other reviews as well, which is kind of where I get this from as well. But upon watching it, I could see what they meant. It really feels like this film had another plot in it before it was changed. What's a good way to demonstrate this? It's like... You know how Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, gets the apple from the wicked stepmother? Well, just imagine that Snow White got the apple from the wicked stepmother, but the apple was a regular apple. And all it did was make Snow White maybe fall asleep for 5 minutes and just wake up and like nothing happened. It's like nothing happened. That's kind of the whole gist of this film. Sure, there's some character development. We learned that. I'm just so mad about this. Like, there's gonna be a lot of spoilers because I'm just not happy with this film. Even thinking back on it now, it was not a total waste of my time, but I had too many high hopes and my hopes were let down. Because I thought that this film would actually have a plot. I expected more from Marvel. I mean, even Eternals was a little bit better than Quantumania, in my opinion, because Eternals at least had some historical elements that had some more depth to it. Because of the historical elements, I just felt this film was mainly about Cassie wanting to do one thing while her dad wanted to do another, and them not quite agreeing on things for the most part. Like, Cassie's painted as more of an activist in this film, which, okay, let me be quite clear on this. It's fine to be an activist for causes you support, but it should not be the main focus of the film for the most part. There's some of that in there, but it's not to the point where it's annoying. It's in there, it's alright. I didn't have any issues with that scene in the car they had when they're talking about the Avengers and different motivations. That scene's alright. No issues for me there. But my biggest annoyance is when Cassie is just trying to sit there and run around and do one thing while Antman's doing another, and it seems like they're out of sync with each other for the most part. Like, they're not... The chemistry just doesn't seem to be there in the film. It seems like it's lacking in this particular film. Like, it feels like there was supposed to be some kind of price to pay in this film, but then that was cut out for whatever reason at the last minute, for the most part. There is some good parts with Jonathan Major's character. He actually gets in some good lines there. Actually is a decent part of the plot. But the actor himself is in trouble right now. You can read about it if you want. It's in the news. At the time of recording, because of what Jonathan allegedly did, he may be replaced. His performance was great as Kang. Probably one of the few good parts of the film. And I'm not even going to sit there and say that I didn't like the part where Lord Krylar basically turns on Janet. I feel like because it feels like we were all, like Disney was Lord Krylar, and we were given a film that could have been better than what it was. We were given a film that was not cohesive plot-wise. It's not as bad as Morbius. All the cuts, because Morbius at least makes sense with some parts. But I think the biggest annoyance was just the fact that our plot was taken and put into a blender, like I said, and it's just annoying when you know that Disney has all of this budget for all of these things, and yet they couldn't take the time to get the writers in a room and say, hey, let's not be stupid and do what DC did with Shazam 2 and make something bad. You know, it's better than Shazam 2, from what I understand. But the problem with this film, in my eyes, and with my honest opinion, is that it's a forgettable film if you think about it, because it's like, why? Why is Janet not telling us what's going on? Why is she doing the Maz Kanata thing? You know how Maz in, I want to say, The Last Jedi says, oh, this can wait until another time? It feels like that with this film, with how Janet Van Dyne's running around. Like, they're not telling us what's going on. We don't even know who Kang is till like 30 minutes into it. That's how bad it is, and it's like, hey, maybe we should talk about what's actually going on here. But no, they drink like a weird jelly juice thing from an alien, which I find to be weird. I guess that's a reference to mixed drinks for 21 plus adults, perhaps. I don't know. Just a thought. I was impressed by, when I first was watching, I was like, yay, Kang's actually being the bad guy, actually being a real bad guy. He's actually gonna sit there and actually have some stuff happen here, and it's just like, nope. Kang will fight, but there's like no price, no consequence. Everybody gets to go home happily ever after. There's been various unverified rumors I've not been able to verify these myself, that the original ending was going to have a price to be paid. Because you're supposed to... They basically made going to the quantum realm as easy as pie, instead of there actually being some sort of sacrifice to get there. You know, that's the part that I don't get, honestly. I feel like they would have been better trying to write a plot on a malfunctioning time machine than what they produced with Quantumania. Just was not to my liking with how they paced the film. And I really like Marvel films, you know, I like a lot of the stuff they do, but this really was not up to what I was used to, I guess, for a Marvel film. I guess I expected too much as a fan of Marvel for this film. And this is coming from someone that, you know, has seen like all of the shows and everything. You know, it's just crazy to see that Disney would throw away a film like this and not maybe delay the release for another month or two to actually work out some kinks. It really feels like this film was kind of cookie cutter put together. I really feel like they could have delayed the release by another month or two to put in that original ending. Like, I thought that Disney would have done test screenings on this film before it even went into theaters. I guess I was wrong on that, or maybe they did and they decided to go with the ending of the film, where I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off and just say it quite frankly, when you're gonna have two people like heroically sacrifice themselves and then you take that away from us and you basically have Cassie show up out of the portal and say hey, and then they just go back to going like nothing ever happened, that doesn't feel like a Disney movie. That feels, or should I say, that doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. It feels like Tangled, you know, where there was no consequence, where everything just went back to normal pretty much, besides the stepmother being gone. It feels like that with this film, like the bad guy is gone, but what else? Not really anything else happens. I mean, even Mario knows how to put together a plot. That's a video game movie, and usually video game movies don't do too well. And it did really well, but it's continuing to do very well. Antman Quantumania isn't even pulling the big numbers like Mario is. And because the people who made Mario focused on what actually makes a film good. A sufficient amount of comedy, not too much. Having a good time. And not trying to make everything a commentary on how life is. You can have moments like those in films, but don't make the film be overshadowed by that, is what I'm saying. You know? But I'm still sticking with my 4 out of 10 rating because I was annoyed by the lack of direction of the story. There was no price to be paid, basically no payoff. The whole film feels like it's blended together. Feels like we're watching a DC film, like a really bad DC film. That's how it feels at times with this film. Just almost like a DC film, like a really bad DC film. And I'm not saying I'm saying like Suicide Squad level of bad, like the original one. The 2016 one. So, 4 out of 10. I am going to be very, very guarded about the next Marvel film I see, because that was a huge it was almost like a waste of time when there was no payoff at the end. That's just how I feel with this film. As for the Marvels, I might just see it because I really like the premise of a team-up film. If it's funny enough, if it's actually funny, I'll give it a go, but I'll wait for ratings first. But anyways, until next time, here's the Antman review. I know I've put it off for forever, but here it is. Thank you for supporting Killer Film Reviews, and I hope you all have a great day.